Go ahead. What do you got there, Robbie?
I mean, I'm just a dad.
Hey, guys.
Look at this. I have a name tag. I just came from Father's Day at school. It's just I'm a dad.
Jordan, have you met Leia?
I don't think so. Just via.
There's a lot of talk of this Leia person.
Alex, do you remember the first time you met Leia? It was at Bay Cities, which is this deli,
That's right.
and she was a baby still. And I remember like I handed her to you and she just started sobbing in the deli. She was just like, oh, and you were like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Here, Rob, take her back. Take her back.
Upside down and backwards.
Yeah.
No, she's got good intuition. Good intuition.
No, she loves you, dude. Come on. Jay, where are you? You look like you're in a sexy place.
Yeah, I'm actually in Asheville, North Carolina right now, at
Nice.
this beautiful cabin. My morning was with sipping a coffee in a hot tub, and then
Man.
I lit the fire out front to take some photos with a little more coffee. Probably not enough water intake, but as long as the coffee is, the iced coffee's just coming and flowing, life's good. But yeah, out here, what's up? Talk to me.
how is this guy? I mean, I'm sure listeners are going to be asking it because the thoughts are coming up. How is this guy still single? He's in a cabin. Have you seen the facial hair? Come
Great
on.
abs. Just epic core. Yeah.
Thank you so
Why are you
much.
still single, Jay?
I hate that question so much, and I'm sure a lot of our audience hates that question of just like, why? How? Getting those DMs or people just questioning that is always, I'm gonna put do not disturb on as well. It's just such a tough question. There are so many different ways to answer it, or I do think, and Alex and I had a conversation on the phone the other day where I brought up how being single and being in a relationship is a choice. And so I think there's a lot of choices that I have made over the last few years that have led me to be single. And I talked about this in therapy as well, about being maybe a little love avoidant,
Sure.
and not fully accepting what's presented to me.
That was a
I
good
mean,
answer, man.
Great answer for snaps. Snaps to you. I speaking of love though, I mean somebody in the room is just
Wait, this
smitten.
seems like
Yeah.
that wasn't quite a deflect. That was a grab someone and
No, yeah,
okay.
just tell us like okay, Jay updated
What's
us.
love like?
He's still single in a cabin in Asheville. What about you, Smitstein?
Oh my gosh. All right, let's do this. If there was a jinx, this is it. So let's move through this. So a little update in A-Dub's life. I'm dating someone.
Yes.
That's like not news to Jordan. Yes. It's not news to
First
Jordan.
one of the pod to be able to say
So,
that. Listen, we're so happy for you. Like,
thanks,
we're happy that
guys.
you're happy, and we've talked
He
a
has
lot
like a
about.
glow on his face right now.
Stop, guys. It's the
glowing.
light. It's the ring light.
Okay.
Guys, so this will be my last podcast. This, as is tradition, and then if it ends, I'll be rejoining. No, we've talked about this. Well, it's just something where there's so many beautiful, beautiful, wonderful, and then also like hilarious things that have happened. So I'll just tell a quick anecdote. So I am now in Austin, which like big change from Boulder. I'll tell you that much right out of the gates. Like I feel like such a little country kid and granted, it's not like Boulder was in the total middle of nowhere, but it kind of was. And I'm like on the highway here and I'm like, there's just so many roads. There's so many cars. It's very overwhelming. But I was supposed to just stay with her for a night and then move into this place for a month, an Airbnb, like a soft landing into Austin. That place, I go into it. It was dirty. There was like we're all adults here. There was like the bathroom, there was like hairs of different varieties everywhere. I'm like, screw, I'm not staying here. So as a result, I've now stayed many nights, and we basically we don't move slow on Still Single. We don't move slow. But my biggest takeaway, and I guess this is just to say, like, there's so many conversation topics, I think, whether you're single, whether you're dating someone, whether you're married. And one that's come up for me is I'm just like a big wildebeest savage. Like, I'm like messy and I don't mean to be. I knock things over. I'm just I like, and now the first couple of days I wasn't trying to be clean. Now I'm trying so hard to be clean, and I've just learned that
You're domesticating yourself.
I'm a wildebeest.
It was so funny when he first was in the house and he's like, she's so super clean. And I'm just like wanting to ask her, like, can we not sometimes? Can we save the dishes for tomorrow? Can we?
I
I love
reuse
how it takes
glasses.
a
We've
week
gotten
to just kind of.
we've gotten to the point where I reuse glasses quite.
I remember when I moved in, when Noelle and I moved in together, we were like 24 or 23, and she was just like, what? Like, she's like, what are you doing? And I was just like, what do you mean? She's like, you don't know how to fold towels. You don't know how to do the dishes.
You crumple them up and you throw them right over there.
Do you not put anything away? I'm so glad that you guys have these same experiences, because actually my time hop just told me that it was a year ago yesterday that it was Joshua Tree where that took place.
Wait, that was a year ago?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was
not this
recently.
Well,
Okay.
not this last Joshua Tree. There was a Joshua Tree last year.
Interesting.
It was right after I broke up with my ex.
You can say it. It's okay.
Sorry.
You've seen her. The ship has sailed.
Yeah. No, I feel so much better. Life is good. Wish her the best. Anyways, and the that trip, man, that really helped me. And I met Whitney Williams, and she was like, don't get on the dating apps and all that. Zoom out a year later, I'm doing well, honestly.
He's on
I'd say
5 different dating apps right now, and
I am. Yeah,
I guess
I'll do my
right now? Yeah,
I'll do
go
my
ahead.
update. Yeah, so I am on some dating apps, and I met somebody at a film festival, and for my film, and like we hit it off really well, and we ended up going on a first date last weekend, and it was just so much fun. It was like literally just like such a fun night. And then, of course, because I move so slow, I've booked a trip for us in like a month and a half to go to Mexico. And I'm just like, what am I doing?
It's that far off.
Yeah, dude. It's the beginning of December. So
Well, I'm coming out of the bullpen, so I'm kind of hoping that things fall through. He's like, if this doesn't work out, do you want to come? And I'm like, hell yes, I am there. So wishing you the most success. But once again, this feels like an early episode where you guys ask me a question and then we completely tangent into other spots.
Totally,
So we're getting
totally.
updates. And so how are you still single? How are, I know you're dating and you're making plans, and that's exciting. This is early end of dating things, but how would you view that question? Or, you have so many great things going on for you, and people struggle to think the three of us, although Alex no longer, can be classified in that question. He hates that. He's freaking out. He's like overly. I sent a message in the group chat that was like, when you put out bad energy into the universe,
Yeah, that
bad
was good.
energy is received, and so that when something bad happens, you go, "See, I knew it." And they're dating. They are, and that's like their
It's
boyfriend and
beautiful.
girlfriend.
Yeah,
Can I say
it's
that?
really.
Did you just define the relationship?
No.
Did you just DTR them?
When will this come out? No, it is. We are.
Yes. So there's the case. So I asked him, what is there to jinx? Like, you guys are doing it.
Dude,
and that's
people
awesome.
fall out of love. Things happen, breakups, and
Sure.
Take it easy, wildebeest. You're already got the fire in your eyes. It's gonna be okay. Just take
the
it one
shirt
day at a
feels
time.
awfully tight right now.
Yeah. It's the classic first date shirt
This
too.
is my
So
this
it's
is
like
my favorite shirt.
So we might need to just frame it and
Dude,
put
it's
it like
getting
that's what I want. Yeah, let's just frame it and put like some stats on it. Worn 1,247
Dude,
times.
during 2020, there was not one first date where this got a rest. This was only worn. And now I've like everything in my car. So this is getting some airtime. Favorite shirt. I feel like
Dude,
me in it. I feel like me. It's a me shirt.
you look like you. You really
Yeah.
you are embracing you right now.
For those who are only listening to audio, just don't like subscribe to our YouTube.
Yeah, check out our YouTube channel. We've got all of our episodes up. Wait, so going back to the question of like,
Yes,
why are
please.
you
Yeah,
still
Robbie.
single? Obviously, like I've been like almost religious in terms of being in a relationship. Like I feel like since I was 15, I was in a serious relationship. I went Ashley, then I met Noelle, then I met my ex. Like I've always felt like I've had a girlfriend,
Mm-hmm.
and there's actually some anxiety in being single that I'm just starting to get over in this last maybe month of life, where I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm going to be single for another year, 2 years. Like that's okay. I'm going to date, obviously. I'm going to connect, but like, do I necessarily need, like, I don't need a rush to like fill that void. And so that to me is just a change of perspective. That's saying, I mean, like I am seeking, I'm like a man seeking woman right now. Like I'm on dating apps, I'm trying to go on dates, I'm trying to like establish deeper connections. But I'm also kind of just like, I don't know, like the hand I was dealt was pretty fucked up, and I'm just kind of like, let's try and enjoy life right now.
How has going viral impacted your life lately?
I thanks for that. It is the first video I've ever posted.
Did it break a
Of
million yet?
it broke 1 million views on
Hell yeah,
TikTok,
good for
which is
you.
just, it's just really cool. And for the listeners, if you haven't seen it, it's on TikTok. It's a very sad video, like definitely sad, but it's also very honest, and it basically just showcases items that I carry with me that remind me of Noelle, my late wife. And nothing has really changed. It's just a video that has a lot of views, and I've gained some new followers. That's yeah.
One of the things which was like oddly out of place was just it was a tape measure and it was extended to 6'3". And it was
Yeah, I carry a tape measure around. It's always locked off at 6'3". So I just hold it up and I'm like, this is how many inches I am.
well,
Yeah,
dude. Well, let me just say this. From what you said, as Jordan and I, who have been, I think, with you, in varying depths through since all of this, I think there was definitely a period where you really wanted to have that space filled right away.
yeah.
Or even if it wasn't right away, you just really wanted that space filled. And I think what's exciting now is you're at a place, it seems, where you're like, man, I'm Robbie. I'm a great dude. I'm a great dad. I have a great daughter. You're doing what you love and you have a great life. And it seems like, yeah, it says like dad of the year or something. I'm
It
sure.
says Rob Moore, that's my name. But then it also says what Leia Moore kindergarten. I went to a fucking Father's Day at my daughter's school. Like, how cool is that? That's so cool.
It's very cool, man.
It is really awesome. I do remember my dad coming to like a preschool, like dad, like I still remember my dad has the picture of us. Like that's like early memory. So it is being impactful and you are doing a great job with that. Like snaps to you for setting aside the time to do that.
I just
And
snapped myself.
dude, the way, I mean, I don't really know this, but sometimes it just seems like because you don't have a need desperation, I have no doubt that you're going to like run your course and be amazing and live in life. And then someone incredible is just going to come in because you don't need it at all
Right.
in the next like 6 months, and it'll be wonderful.
You think
Or not,
I don't think it's
dude.
going to be that soon. I don't think it's going to be that soon.
Okay.
There's a part of me that's like, I don't even want it to come yet. Just
Yeah,
let it.
dude.
I'm going to stay single. I'm going to be the most single Bobby ever. We're going to be walking down the aisle for your wedding, and I'm going to still be single, motherfuckers.
We should have like the listeners do like a betting pool of like odds and
Who's going to get married
Ooh,
first, or
yeah.
who's
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
lock it down?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're already living with your
Kind of like a
girlfriend,
Deadpool, yeah.
So you're on.
Listen, everybody.
Ooh,
A Deadpool.
Well, that's where the name comes from.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know if
yeah,
you
yeah,
saw the
yeah.
first. Yeah.
Yeah. A Wedpool.
I will say in the chat, I haven't heard Jay go, I feel like I'm gonna shut it down for this girl in a while.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten one of
yeah,
those in a while. And that used to be
yeah.
your kind of go-to. You'd be like, I've met this girl on
Yeah.
Well,
TikTok. I'm gonna
no,
shut it down
well,
for her.
usually it would send for someone who I hadn't communicated with, and it'd be like this person I'd shut it down for. But you know, the one thing that I talk about with our podcast is that we're very fortunate that we have, for the most part, our shit together, and that getting dates isn't an issue. And it's not like we've never been in a relationship and we don't know how to get dates. Like, let's come together and be bros and help each other out. Like, it's more of just, hey, we're living our truths and trying to be our best selves. And so getting dates isn't an issue. But I will say that I'm at a 0% success rate for anyone that I have said I will shut it down for. So I think I just kind of like needed to stop saying that. And I also think was like putting those people a bit on a pedestal, but
Right.
the success rate of saying that was 0. And so I
Well,
was just trying
I
to
feel
avoid that.
like there's like the person in real life, and then there's their Instagram, TikTok self, which can be an elevated version of them. Like I've dated women where I'm just like, but her Instagram is so hot. But then like when I'm with her in person, I'm like, "Eh, she's cool. Like she's totally cool. I date cool people and like great people, but then I'm just like, but her Instagram is so hot. Do you do that, Jordan?
Oh yeah.
Or is that just me being
No,
shallow?
I've been there before, and it makes me think about the last episode that I was listening to right before we were recording, about that first time excitement when you get like a girl's number who she's like a model, and you're
Right.
like, you get to tell your boys, you're like, I'm going on a date with a model, or to be able to show the social media where they look awesome, where
Yep.
you don't even have to pick out the photo. You're just like, you open up the profile and you're like, yeah.
I'm with her.
Exactly. But I think over time, and that removes a bit of the pedestal as well, of just kind of being like, no one is out of your league type of thinking. There's a
Mhm.
lot of people and a lot of thought of like, oh, I'm too nervous. That person's so attractive, or all that. Like, just having confidence in going up. And this goes both ways. Like, if you see a cute guy out and you want to go and talk to him, go and say what's up. If you see a cute girl, like, muster that courage. You have like a 5 to 10 second window. Otherwise, you need to stop staring at them and go about your day. Like, you either say what's up, you make the eye contact a few times, and then go say what's up, or you kind of lost your courage.
And on that note, we've said that before, and I actually have another topic that y'all just kind of like knocked loose that I'll bring up in a little bit. I think it's a little provocative. We'll hop into it. It's around the topic of open relating. So just say that in a bit. We'll hop back. But to what Jordan said, I underline exclamation, put it in bold. If italics strengthens it again, do that. Go talk to the person. Even if the intention and takeaway is simply that you did it, say the person's not interested in you. Say the person is with someone else, or say they blow you off. I think just that muscle of being nervous, still summoning the courage, and then going and saying something with like a good heart to an individual, whatever that is such a valuable quality in a human being. And it's so freaking lost in the lives that we lead now, because everything is through a phone.
I literally, okay, so I've, since doing this podcast and then also reading the game, I've gained some, I've always been confident, but I've been confident more in like the bar setting or like party setting, going and talking to women, but not really like coffee shop hello or restaurant hello or out and about hello. I'm there now. Like I am going in guns a blazing. I say hello, and I've been I was unsuccessful on this one where I was talking to this French girl, French
That
Canadian.
must have just been the language barrier, because no one's believing that. You didn't.
She had just moved to LA. she was outside. I was with my buddy Luke, and she was with a guy, and I was like, they're not on a date. They're not on a date. So I just started really leaning in. I bummed a cigarette from her. We really started talking. I'm like, this is my future wife. Like, that's what's going through my head and inside. Then they go and eat dinner. I like position myself with Luke so that I can see her and like make eye contact with her across from the way. And then we finished dinner, and Luke's like, dude, so what are you going to do? Are you going to ask for a number? And I was like, you know what? Fine. Fuck it. I'm going to go do it. And I walk over there, and I'm like, I'm sorry to interrupt, but like, you're just really beautiful. And could I possibly take you out for a drink sometime? And she goes, oh my God, good on you for being so brave. That was the first thing out of her mouth. Second thing, she's like, I have a boyfriend. And I was like, I knew it. You're too beautiful to be single, kind of thing. And that was even better. And then the guy was sitting there. It wasn't her boyfriend, but he was just like, okay, dude. Like,
how do you know it's not me?
Right.
Yeah,
Jerry
literally
Seinfeld thing. It's like,
thing.
how do you know we're not on a date? Like, that's.
I just had a feeling. Well, she said like they were friends from like high school. I'm like, dude, you're not. She was hotter than
it
him.
is. It is funny though, but she's like, but you are brave. I want you to know that when you drive home and you're not with me and you don't hear from me.
No, it was like she was flattered. It was a good one. Okay. It was
great.
But in that situation, and I've been there before, where I leave feeling so good that I said something, because I would feel so shitty if I was like, I want to get that girl's number. I want to say what's up to her. And I don't muster that courage to do it. Whether or not you get it, you're just like, cool. Now like Alex, the way that you said it is so on point, is just like, just getting comfortable with doing that, but also like, you then know if they're interested, you get the number. If they're a jerk, then you're like, great. I actually congratulations for being attractive, but you're an asshole. Like, I didn't want fine. And then you know that, and it's like doing it for yourself. And I talk about that a lot, about like creating content. And when I'm speaking on podcasts, it's like, people ask that question, and the same thing goes for you wanting to found a relationship and us talking about this. I think we get so much therapeutic benefits out of this, and we're growing internally, that when the right person comes, we're going to be ready, and not just being like, I'm looking for these check marks and that's when I'll know. It's like, no, when you're ready internally, when you're comfortable, when you're confident, that's, you're doing it for yourself.
Heck yeah. They're definitely growth experiences, like, and they help you, because it's just, you do get nervous and you are like, wait a minute. Like,
well, it's so interesting, man. I'm like thinking back, and I remember there were times where I felt where I've been working that muscle, and part of working it, I will say, is also, and this is part of my last like year in Colorado, small talk was back in my life, because LA small talk left my life, but in Colorado, I would like, you just kind of say, hey, how are you to people? And you like talked and so that muscle, you can do it with guys and girls and kids, don't make it weird. But you can do it anywhere. But I remember there was a period where I was so
small
comfortable.
Talk with kids?
Totally, man. I talk to kids all the time. Part of the Ninja Warrior. No, hold on. Let me finish this. Alexis, our editor, don't clip that out. Yeah. At Ninja Warrior, there's often kids training, and I'm really thankful for it. I've actually had talks with people about this, especially because we all like are part of a men's community. I don't think it's a good thing how separate kids are from adults in our society. I think there needs to be a better way of bridging that journey of examples. Anyways, so at the gym, I'm really thankful because I actually have conversations with like kids who are 11 because we're both, or like 8 because we're both sucking on an obstacle. It's like, dude, this one's hard, right, Billy? Anyways, so, but all that's to say, when I was really in it with talking to people, I wouldn't get nervous. But I also remember when I wasn't, it was such a thing that I would literally feel the nerves, because I've always struggled with nerves, lacrosse, stand up, that I would kind of black out. And I would feel that starting to happen. I'm dead serious, man. I would feel that starting to happen if I was going to go talk to a girl where like I was like almost blacking out from nerves. So all that's to say, like, Get those reps in.
Get the reps in. I
Will
agree.
Ferrell in Old School, where he just like spits out that whole scientific equation.
Oh yeah. I'm
Like,
sorry.
what
I
happened?
blacked out.
What just happened? He's like, I have no response to that. But I will hear
That answer was perfect.
yeah. I have no rebuttal.
Uh,
But I do think that like I've been hearing a lot, and let me know if you guys have heard this a lot of just like girls are so impressed by you coming up and saying something because so many people don't do that. Like
Right.
when I was off the dating apps, where I was just like, if I saw someone at the coffee shop, I'm gonna say what's up. I'm gonna just like, and it, and they're like, oh, even this French girl being like, props on you for being so brave. And I remember the
Yeah.
coffee shop girl, she's like, are you always this bold? And I was just like, is this bold? Like, it didn't feel that way, but at the same time, it's just like when you get more comfortable with it, it's the first time you do something, you're terrified because you've never done it before. And then the more that you do things, the easier and more comfortable you get in any situation. So let's get comfortable with this.
Yeah.
Let's get
Yeah.
breezy.
Yes.
Yo, okay. So then I did have a success where I got some digits from, I was at like a music event, and she was working the event, and I walked in, we had some small talk, and the event was terrible. The musician was like a John Mayer wannabe, and he could shred. I'm not going to lie. He could shred, but his singing was just like a little too like, I'm catching dicks in the wind, like basketball. And I was just like,
What an
catching dicks in the
analogy.
wind.
Yeah.
And so my two buddies and I, we left early, and then we were going down, and I was like, wait a minute, I gotta go get that girl's number. And they're like, do it, bro. And I just went up, and I just remember being like, I'm confident. And then as soon as I saw her and started speaking, I was like, I have no idea what I'm gonna say. And I was
What'd you
just like,
say?
I literally go, hey, hi. Can I take you out for a drink sometime? I think that's what I said. I'm like, you're adorable or something. And she was like, yeah. She's like, but we can't get a drink here, because she like worked at the place that we were at. I was like, yeah, totally, we could like go to Soho House. I like threw out the Soho House flex.
This guy just, you dropped something here. Pick up this name real quick.
Yeah, exactly. And she's like, oh yeah, that would be really fun. And I was like, what are you doing this weekend? She's like, this weekend I'm going to San Diego. And I could feel her being like, you need to slow down. So
Because I have 2 tickets to Mexico, and right now it's spoken for. But
I was just like, okay, cool. Talk to you later. Well, I'm gonna go. Bye.
See, that's interesting that you go with like the somewhat of the planning of the activity for asking for the number versus me. Like when I do it, I'm just like, hey, can I get your number? And then it's like, all right, we can communicate.
She gave me the number. She put it in my phone. I screenshotted it to make sure that it's saved.
Smart.
Yeah, that's what I do now. When girls give me their numbers, I screenshot immediately, because I don't trust that my phone's going to save that number. Like, I just don't. I'm going to look at it later at night and be like, where is she?
Dude, the haunting of, gosh. What
was her name again? The girl from the creek?
I think it
Izzy.
Man. Izzy. Yeah,
Izzy.
It was Izzy.
Oh,
I was like reflecting with my housemates before I left Boulder, and they're like, man, can't believe you gave the wrong number. Just like it's just astonishing. It's astonishing.
Wait, tell the story. I tell the story again really quick.
The quick story was, I was like going to be in Boulder for the summer, and I was like, you know what? I'm really excited to be in Boulder. Like, I want to give this a shot. It's Boulder. It's summer. It'll be great. And we went to the creek, and I'm single, and I went with my buddy he's like an Adonis, and we went, and the creek was popping off. It's like this really fun area in Boulder, and people like day drink and set up hammocks and all this stuff. And I've never seen it this crowded again, but there was unreal. And we walked, and there was this really cute girl, and she had a dog, and I kind of said hello to the dog to say hello to her. And then we like kind of like joked, and I was like, okay, great. And she like made an eye later in the day, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to ask her out when we leave. And so I went out with my buddy, and I asked her out, and she was like, yeah. And I didn't have my phone, and I always have my phone. And I was like, I guess I'll give you my number. She's like, all right. And she handed me the phone, and I was so nervous, dude. I literally typed it in, and I'm handing it back to her, and I go, I don't think that's my number. And I'm literally, looking at it, I'm like, I don't think that's my number. And I'm handing it back to her. And I was just too nervous to like, I didn't want to be like, hold on, let me double check and let me add me. I was trying to be breezy. And
Crazy.
and then I got to the
I'm
car and I was like, man, I think I gave her the wrong number. He's like, dude, go and find her. And then I took laps. I probably did like 2 or 3 laps of the creek to try to find her. And she was gone because I'm breezy, because that's what you do when you're breezy.
I have a question. I have a question for the still single bros. So
everything happens for a reason.
I met somebody in the wild like 2-3 weeks ago, who I was like smitten over. And then I put my number in her phone. I made sure to call. Then it rang, because I didn't have my phone with me. So I called my number from her phone so that it was saved. Then I texted her like, hey, I'm on my way to this date, but like all I can think about is you. She responds 4 hours later. Hi, of course, like would love to get together. Like I'm gonna be out of town until like the end of November. So I'm like 2 months from now. And then I just responded really like, okay, sounds fun. Like hit me when you're back. Then she's like, FYI, I'm back on the 24th of October. So she's basically back from her trip. I have not hit her back up
Wait,
yet.
so she was like, it's going to be end of November. Actually, it's a month earlier.
Right. She was like, I gave you the wrong date. So then I was like, okay, great. Like 2 weeks is 2 weeks. It's not 6 weeks, right? Anyways, I haven't texted her to be like, hey, how was your trip? Because then I sent her another message being like, oh, amazing. Like have so much fun on your trip. Like what is going on on your trip? And I got no response. So do I reach out now being like, hey, you back from your trip? Or do I wait for her to reach out, which she may never do?
That ship has sailed.
No. Are you sure?
You can if you really do want to see her again, you have to initiate that. I think it's been 3 days since she's been back, 4 days, I guess. So if you really do, I think you reach out, and sometimes in those situations, listen, I'm a momentum guy, so like when momentum's lost, it's just kind of like you're talking to someone else from your movie trip like premiere,
Totally.
and you're planning
right.
like a trip with them. Like, it's I understand like the filling of the ego cup of like going on this date with this girl whose number you got, and like think about how many people's numbers you get off of dating apps that don't end up going on a date with. I don't know if
Was
that's
there
just me, but
something? Yeah, was there like a real? If there was like something real, I would say go for it. If not,
I mean, I
probably
made
let
her
it.
I made her blush for sure, and like there was definitely attraction, and it was
yeah,
kind of
because he's
just like
6'3" and he has blue eyes
But
and
did you like? My
dimples.
point is like, was there something where you're like, okay, I definitely want to
I,
see this woman?
It
Yeah.
seems like even the communication via text was just kind of like,
the communication via text was not that, oh my fucking god. And to be honest, like I'm friends, I'd like to stay kind of friends in her friends group, so I don't know, it's
Let it
it's
be.
almost like a shit where you eat kind of situation if we were to go. God, I'm with the analogies today.
yeah.
I would say let it be.
You're kind of giving your own answer with that. Yeah, if you want to reach
Yeah.
out just to like
Tight.
be a good guy and just like be like, hey, but
I sent the last text and there was never a response, so it's up to
mhm,
her. I'm
yeah,
not going
a
to
little
double
bit.
bubble.
Double
Wait, so
bubble.
you refuse to double text?
I don't refuse to double text. I'm in a season of no double bubbling.
Okay, great. I
I
respect it.
remember when I was left on red, whether it was dating app or text, I would say one of our better talks. And that always was a good icebreaker.
It's a great line.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
One
kind
of
of
our
your
better-
Hail Mary last. Yeah.
Yeah, you're being a little what is it, passive aggressive, and
A little
sometimes
bit.
people will be playful with it, and other times like it just comes off where you're just like
Yeah.
they now feel forced of a situation that was like
Yeah.
that ship has sailed a little bit, but
I'm gonna try
I
that in the business setting actually now. Let's see if that works.
just being passive aggressive. Alex,
Yeah.
what's the open relations thing that
Okay.
you wanted to speak on?
Well, this is a punchy topic. So I caught up with a buddy of mine, great dude, and he is in a relationship with another friend of mine, and that's their journey, and I'm not going to talk about them. But he brought up a topic of open relating, which is another phrasing of open relationship, which is another phrasing of ethically non-monogamous. all of these are in an arena of, and I think it's something curious to talk about because, we do grow up and there's kind of a traditional model, which is man and woman. You meet a man and woman, you start dating, then maybe you live together, then you get engaged, and then you get married, and then you have kids. There's also setting up a family or dating and not doing that, of not having kids or not even getting married legally and just being life partners and all that. And so I think this falls in another arena of how two people or more can go about life. And I guess the question is, what are your guys' thoughts on it? And I'll share mine too, of ethically non-monogamous, meaning could you be in an open relationship? Could you be in an open marriage? I guess we could start there. How do you all feel about that?
Okay. First of all, I love that you brought this topic up. I have to tell just a quick story. So a couple weekends ago, my buddy Jared from NYU, he was my roommate at NYU. He had just moved to LA, and I took him to like a house party in Marina Del Rey. And this is a friend of mine that I've been friends with for 10, 11 years. Okay. We get to this party and I leave Jared and he starts talking with some of the guests. And one of the guys comes up to him and says, like, "Hey man, you see that girl over there?" And Jared's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "That's my girlfriend." And Jared's like, "Cool. She's beautiful." And then he goes, "I shit you not." He goes, I like watching guys, have sex with my girlfriend. And Jared was like, "Rob, like, where did you take me to?" So I find out that there is a group, and I'm not going to name names, but they like have sex with each other, and they like having sex with each other. And again, there's no judgment. Like, that is totally your choice and your thing. But my buddy came up to me. He's like, "You didn't know that they did this?" And it like looked like I had brought my buddy to this thing to like introduce him to this lifestyle.
How get out of you of just like offering him up.
Right, exactly.
He looks outside and you're in the car driving away.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Have fun. So, okay. So I guess I'll go first. I have been, senior year of high school and freshman year of college, I kind of was like in two relationships at once, and it was really messy.
That's more polyamory, and that was also like
that's more being 19.
That's more unethically non-monogamous.
Let me just give a little more framing.
A little bit.
Well, because
it is.
I can talk about. Well, you explain it, and then I can talk about, because I've actually been in an open relationship.
So I think, and I'm very curious. That's right. That's right, Jordan. And this is a land of zero judgments. It's just us all honestly talking about it. I'm curious, you listening, what you feel about it. But it's really two adults who are not wanting to go about it. And of course, there's people who do things well and people who do things not well. But the intention of it is to be, open in seeing other people, but your core bond emotionally, if it's not physically, your core bond emotionally is together. And then physically you may see other people, but you kind of let each other know about that. You let each other know, hey, I'm going to be seeing this partner. It's very open in all senses.
Right. Jordan.
Yeah. So it's really interesting because a lot of the second half of The Truth talks about the different open relationships, swingers, polyamory, all that kind of stuff. And so to hear it from Neil Strauss's perspective in that, and just ultimately getting such a deep intake on it. So with my experience, the relationship started as an open relationship, and so I think that's a little bit where it got messy, because we didn't have this foundation with each other, and it was new for me, but not new for her. And I think the one difference or the one problem that really was created was that I would go on dates and be casual with these other women, and she was only seeing one other guy. And so I had a bit and so that's where we were kind of headbutting, is that she was having issues that I was going on dates with multiple different people. And I was like, well, you're building a foundation with someone else. That actually feels way worse than me just being casual here. Like, I'm just being, breezy with these other women, but coming back to you. And so, there's a lot of you got to remove a lot of jealousy from there. There's a lot of communication, there's a lot of boundaries and like lines that you need to set and rules. I'm not the best when it comes to like playing by the rules. I like to bend the rules a little bit and just all schemes of life. And so it was very interesting and very it added I liked it, and it also wasn't like the best. I guess that's also why I don't feel so connected with that ex, because maybe there was that casual, maybe because I don't know if I could be in an open relationship with someone who I really, really deeply cared about, and thinking of them like going out and hooking up with other people the way that I would be going out. Like it's a respect thing too. And so, but at the same time, like I struggle with the idea of being monogamous. Like it's something that I'm like still trying to lock in and understand completely on how that looks and
How that
works.
works.
Yeah.
How does one sleep with
So
only
you just
one other person?
stop talking to everyone else.
Right. Well, I will say that, the attraction to women in the wild, it doesn't go away. As somebody I've been in love, I've been married, like it doesn't go away. You always notice it, but there's just like, I don't know, that you don't
That need, the
you don't
like, I'm
need
gonna
it
go up
because
to like
your
chat.
cup is just so full.
Mhm.
I think like your cup is so full from your significant other and your partner, when it is a monogamous relationship and you're deeply in love and infatuated, as I was, it your cup's full. So it's like, sure, you're still gonna be like, that's a great butt, or like, those are
Sure.
some great boobs. Like that's just what happens. And you always think in that accent, those are great boobs. But your cup's full, so you're not like going after it. But I wanted to mention, so in terms of this conversation about is it how do you say
Yeah,
it?
polyamory.
Polyamory. Like the images that come into my mind, there's two that are distinct. One is like the king of like ancient Jerusalem, like King David or something, King
Okay.
Solomon, having
Yeah.
like multiple wives, where
Sure.
he's
Yeah.
like, I can have sex with this person, I can have sex with this person, I have this mistress, and like that's what I'm thinking about. Then I think in terms of modern times, the way of that lifestyle being is like very like pornographic, almost like lots of swinger parties and kind of like
Sure.
gangbang vibes. And I
Okay.
don't I'm sorry. I'm just telling you, like, those are the images that I see, and it might be totally wrong. So I'm just curious, like in an open relationship, like how do you communicate through those
Well, and,
things?
I'll reiterate, I am not in one, nor do I have a desire to be in one. And I'll say mainly because I do think there are people, just like everything, there are people who do things well and people who don't. And I think that there are people who have the emotional capability to have a core with someone and then also openly talk about, okay, so you're going to go see this guy or woman, and then you'll come back, and that's okay. We have an emotional tolerance for that. I'm not that person, and
Do you get
uh,
jealous really easily?
I don't think. I mean, we're also talking about like there's jealousy of like, did that guy look at you? And then there's jealousy of like, so you were over Barry's last night. How was
Right.
that? Like, yeah, I guess to me, I do want it to be a sacred thing that I'm sharing with someone. And I also have heard from many people who have embarked on this and not done it, maybe with the emotional capacity to do that. I've always heard it end horribly, where someone fell in love with one of these things that was supposed to be casual, and then, oh wow, you are dancing with the most intimate force in existence, and something hit. It's not that shocking to me that that could happen. But I'll say one thing to what Rob said was, I had a moment. I remember I was leaving a restaurant. I just ate a huge meal, and it was delicious, and I loved my meal. And I left the restaurant, and I gazed and looked at about 7 people's dinners on their plates. And I was like, that's interesting. I'm full. I just ate an amazing meal. And yet my primal desire is basically like googly eyesing every meal on people's plates. And I'm like, oh, I guess it makes sense. Like that is like in it's like a primal thing. You're like, that looks good. So I think to Rob's point, we're all realists, and we're going to find other people attractive. But I love what you said about the cup being full. And I think, as I look forward in life, what excites me is that energy that maybe I would have given to pursuing someone breezy. I'm excited to pour that into someone. I'm excited to pour that into building a family and a home and all those experiences of life, rather than giving that energy to like a carnal pursuit.
Yeah, no, I mean, your cup is just full at a point. And then, and I was going to say, like, relationships usually cease to exist when somebody's cup is not full and it's not being filled by their partner. And there's so many different ways that can happen. But that then leads to, like,
dude, that's a wisdom gem right there.
Yeah, and I think it comes from not being able to communicate, which wherever your cup isn't being filled, well, whether it's like through love languages, through like being physical with each other, through spending time. Like, I guess it is the different love languages that it is, but of like, why isn't that the case in our inability to communicate with each other? I think
so good, man.
Is the struggle.
That's so good. And for anyone listening, I'm reminding myself too. And I think we're three people that I think are pretty motivated and good at communicating. But that's not easy all the time for us. And also, I have many friends and people in my family and life who communication is not a strong suit. So I'm trying to, if that's who you are and you're listening, it is just so massive though. And sometimes a difficult or uncomfortable or awkward conversation for a half hour can like save things. It really can.
I think, I mean, that's why, like, couples therapy, whenever I hear of like a couple going through a really challenging time, I'm always like, well, are you guys talking? Like, why don't you try and go to couples therapy and just at least like get it out in the open and try and establish like a safe space to share your frustrations and share, and then if in that therapy and you like work it, it's not like going to happen in one session, but let's say you go 6 times or 12 times over the course of a few months, like, if then you're still communicating and things aren't improving, then yeah, then maybe it's not a fit. And that does happen, and it's really sad. But I will agree that, like, lack of communication in a relationship I think lack of communication and a lack of trust are probably just like the two biggest.
I feel that.
So I guess, like, for an open relationship, just going back to the open relating, as we say, like, as long as you're honest and it's okay with both partners, then yeah, I guess there is a way to do it.
Could you do it? Let's go around the horn and let's ask, like, could you? And yeah,
I think if I was really, really into a woman and I had feelings for her, I would get too possessive for me to be comfortable of her hooking up with other guys or other girls. That said, I think I would be open to inviting maybe a girl for like a threesome.
And what if she said, Rob, that's a great idea, and then next weekend, can we invite Chuck?
I don't think I'm gonna fuck Chuck, man.
All right, man. Then I think you're a no, dude.
I'm a no.
Unless you're King Solomon, I think it's a no for Robbie.
There's a lot of variations to it, but ultimately, it sounds like it's a no.
If I'm like boyfriend girlfriend with somebody, like, I'm not. I don't. First of all, I don't want to hook up with other people. I think it actually tarnishes the relationship for someone like me. So yes, I'm a no. Jordan? Ethically monogamous.
Jordan's on open relating swipes right now.
Yeah, are you swiping right now, dude?
No. I'm looking for a question.
Okay, nice.
Straight answer, yes. I think I could do it again. I'd be open to doing it again. It depends the relationship and the situation and the person, but I do think that there is some value to it. I'm not actively seeking that, but I'm not against it.
Dude, I love this podcast because it's like we could have put up like a casting and gotten like 3 distinct personalities. It's just great that we're all friends. And dude, I love it. I love that
I
we have
love it
different
too.
answers.
Yeah.
Let's not skip over
Yeah. What are
No,
you gonna do, man?
someone who presented
listen,
the question.
I'm aware of the I don't know. I've like, yeah, of course, romantically, sure, or like in a fantasy, I think like, oh wow, that could work out, and we're totally on the same page. And short answer is no. I'm more along the lines of I think what Rob said of yeah, I would just want it to be with one person,
Yeah.
and then hear stories from Jordan.
And live vicariously through his penis.
I feel like that's a lot of the choices that I'm making of why I'm still single. Also, is just like to be the friend, to have some stories to tell the bros.
Well, we gotta, but hey, man, that's real. We got to free you of that if you want to be free of that.
For sure. I think everything is a choice when it comes down to it. And it makes me think a lot too, because I just spent the last week with my brother and sister-in-law and niece and nephew and my parents as well. And it was really nice. And happy birthday to my mom. I think this probably is going to come out around the time of her
Happy
birthday.
birthday,
So
Eileen.
Eileen Kahana.
so it was interesting because, you know, I make the joke when I hang out with my niece and nephew that it's great birth control. And they are so stupid, stinking cute. And like, but our whole day is, you know, and I was talking with my brother as well, like our whole day was revolved around the kids and their nap schedule. And at one point, my nephew, who's 1.5, took off his diaper and just took a poop right in the middle of the carpet. And like, super funny, and we're going to be laughing about that, you know, on his 18th birthday, like, you know, just like forever making that joke of like, remember when he just like took a dump in the, you know, or things like that. And so I wasn't ultimately it is aspirational for me, but I will say like uh being like a little of an outlier there. Like, yes, my niece and I are like best friends and all that kind of stuff, but she's 4 years old, so I can't like connect with her on that like super deep level where it would have been really nice to have a partner there to like make jokes with and have her come with, you know, and play games with us and do whatever, and just to have that support, because the dogs weren't there. So I like didn't really have my emotional support outlet, and that made me like want a partner that much more.
Yeah, I mean, when the loneliness trickles in, and it's or just when you're seeing other people connecting in a familial sense, it can trigger 2 things. One, I want that, or I want a version of that, or 2, that's not for me. Like that is not what I see. And obviously there's so many different shades of a family unit and raising children. I will say that I had a thought like yesterday where I was like, maybe I should get a vasectomy. And I was just like,
Whoa.
I just don't want to have, maybe I don't want to have any more kids. And like, you know, I was an accident. You know, I was an oops when my mom was a senior in high school, right? So she had me when she was 19, and you know, I'm a great oops. I get it, but like the complications of an oops can lead down the road. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll just like avoid that and I'll be okay. Like I have my daughter and I'll be fine. And then today I was like, no, man, I would love to have more kids, but it's definitely, you know, it's a job.
Are you going to get it reversed? The snip, snap, snip, snap.
Undo. Doc, I changed my mind. Can we take it back? He's
it's
like,
permanent.
No. Yeah. Oh man, you're shooting blanks for the rest of your life. Jay, do we have a question or anything queued up?
There was one that I seemed like, here, I'll bring it up real quick.
By the way, guys, we read all of your questions, so please send them in. You can DM us on Instagram at We Are Still Single, or DM any one of us at I'm Alex Weber. I'm Alex Weber, or at Jordan Kahana, and then I'm at Rob Michael Moore.
You still happy with the brand change?
It's growing on me. It's growing on me.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
It's great. I'm happy for you about it.
I think it works. Rob Michael Moore, that's literally my name, and it sounds he sounds like a filmmaker. He sounds like
Perfect.
an actor. He sounds like a guy that just makes videos stuff.
Okay, so here's a question. And let me know if we've already answered this. I get the impression that this is from Lydia. I get the impression that you guys think getting older is such a bad thing. How does that leave those of us who are out there who are already past our prime age, but still trying to navigate singleness and finding someone? Still love listening to you guys. It's insightful and entertaining.
That's good. We like that. We like to hear that.
Thanks, Lydia. Is it Lydia with a Y?
It is.
Yeah, Lydia with a Y. That's the way they spell it. Well, first of all, I'm 34, almost 35. I truly feel, and this might be different than your stage of life, but I feel like I'm in my prime. I feel like I've totally entered my prime of, physicality, mental health, career, just like it's happening. Do I still get spooked every day? Absolutely, and it's a challenge, but like I feel like I'm in my prime. Then again, I don't know when that's going to end. And I'm like, am I going to feel this way in a year or 2 years or 3 years? And I don't think I'm giving you any advice, Lydia, but it's all kind of relative, I guess.
My thought to it is, what's the choice? Like real talk. So say you are in your prime, or say you're not in your prime, and say you're in the best shape of your life, or say you're not in the best shape of your life. What is the choice? Like truly, the choice is either to acknowledge that this is where we are, and maybe we could have been in a different life, but we're not. This is where we are, and we're going to commit to yourself, and we're going to decide that you deserve love, and we're going to take care of ourselves, and we're going to put ourselves back out there, and we may meet someone, and maybe that meeting someone will take a while, or maybe it won't. But the other option is just essentially quitting on ourselves. And so I would just say, yes, it's exciting to think about what ifs. What if we were, I've watched a video about a day trader who's 19 and he makes like $10 million. I'm like, sheesh, well, that would be cool. But I think my through line here is you are where you are, and that's not good and that's not bad. That just is what is. And so choose to still love yourself and commit to yourself here. And who knows what might come.
I mean, that's such a great outlook.
Snaps.
And yeah,
Thanks,
so
guys.
brilliant of like really to say something like that is like, what is the other choice? What is the alternative? Like, these are the choices and decisions that we made, or here we are because of some of the choices that we didn't make, but that's where life brought us to. And so, yeah, especially after having this family trip, I was like, man, in a few months, I'm going to turn 36. That's like, okay, that's back half of 30s already. The next thing I know, I'm going to be 40. And, where am I at with things? Like, do I feel like I am where I want to be? And, there's so much. And even listening back to our last episode about, the comparison with other big time influencers and creators and people that we see who is like, it's my 25th birthday. I just bought this like $10 million house.
Yeah,
And you're like,
yeah.
what the hell, man? Like I can't buy a $10 million house, like, stuff like that. And just to be as centered on yourself and as prioritizing. So one thing that I think is so important is listening to that Shia LaBeouf interview with John Berthal, right? Did I do that right?
Yeah,
Is
Yeah,
that his
yeah,
name?
yeah.
So
And he talks about how so much of his life is based around, so before he had children, that so much of his life was based around happiness, and now he's really focused on his purpose. And so since rescuing the dog, for me, so much of my life was based around what makes me happy, doing what, and I think that should be a really high priority. And so much of our society is like, just grind, put your head down, side hustle grind as well. And happiness will come later. And it's like, why can't I work a little less if I'm able to make, enough to have me live the life that I want to and be happy more days than not, and then
Totally.
even Rob Deerdeck having that where he's so analytical and he's like, I rate each day and I can look
yeah.
back at each year and say, in 2021, I've had 12 bad days. Like that's it. It was something along those lines. I'll have to find the clip for you guys. But I think how you said it was so brilliant. It's just like, do what makes you happy and be in the present, because that's all you can control.
I just want to go back to when I was like, I'm in my fucking prime. Literally a month ago, I was just so distraught and sad, and every day was just really bad. And then 6 months ago was really, really bad, and like calling Alex every day, like almost unable to get out of bed. So there are seasons of this, right? And I do believe that it does go back to that choice of like, well, what are you going to do? And that choice it doesn't only need to be self-help, it can actually be asking for help. So it can be reaching out to friends and family, being like, I'm really in a rut right now, I'm really lonely, I'm really seeking companionship, and asking. Because I have found, like, on some of my TikTok lives, a lot of the comments, a lot of the women will be like, I haven't been on a date in 13 years, or I haven't gone on a date all year long, because there's some kind of resistance or some kind of block there. And I will say that a way that I've unblocked myself in the past is by reaching out to my friends and asking for help.
Yeah, and I think off of that too is that, I wonder if you hear the counter of that as like, oh, because all men are terrible, or all, this painting with a really broad brush
Well,
is
they'll
that
be like,
sometimes.
dating is terrible, right? Like, dating apps
Yeah.
are terrible. I can't meet anybody. And it's like, it is a repetition. You have to get the reps in, and then all of a sudden greatness does come. It's
Mhm.
inevitable.
Let me see if I have any questions here.
Oh
Questions,
man, it's
questions,
good to
questions,
talk to you
questions.
guys.
It's good to
Just
talk
like,
to you guys.
it's just good to talk to you guys. Jordan, how long are you going to be in the cabin for?
Until tomorrow. I'm just here for, like, a normal stay. I'm gonna stay 2 nights, 3 days. Back to the
Mm.
pups Friday, in time for Halloween. Back in Denver.
What, any Halloween plans this weekend?
I'm going to a house party
So
Fine.
Saturday.
jealous.
Yeah, but I
I didn't
still
Fine.
get
don't know what
invited
my
to any.
costume is gonna be. I haven't. I need to figure that out.
What are you gonna go with?
I don't know yet. But like, I'm trying to figure that out. I don't think I want to do Freddie Mercury, but I am tempted to go to the mustache route. So maybe I will. But yeah, I
Why
have a
don't you
few
do
other
Top
options.
Gun? Do
I
Miles
don't
Teller,
have
Top
Top
Gun.
Gun. I don't
You could
have
buy a jumpsuit, bro. Those are like easy to
I
get.
was thinking
The
maybe of doing Steve from Stranger Things, because I have a members only jacket, and all you got to do is buy like
That's good.
from like season 2 or something like
That's
that.
good. I'm doing a couples.
Yeah,
Oh
tell
shit.
us
Yeah,
about your
what
Well,
is it?
wait,
couples.
What?
wait. So this actually is really funny, actually. But so she wanted to do Joker.
Right.
Guys, I'm not still single. So she wanted to do Joker. Please don't jinx it. And I thought it'd be funny. I didn't do this, but I thought it'd be funny if I was just like a random character from that movie, like the third extra from that one scene. But I didn't do that. But I did think of like, okay, who do I want to be? So I'm Police Commissioner Gordon.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
What?
Jordan
I hate that
hates
so
it.
much. That's not a
Jordan hates.
costume.
No, can I tell you something though?
Yeah. How are
It's
you going
not
to
a
be Police
costume.
Commissioner
Okay,
Gordon?
first off, it absolutely is. He's pivotal in that movie. Uh,
I'm not discussing his importance in the plot of the film.
hold on. I don't want to be Two Face. I don't want all that freaking makeup. I don't like it. I'm not gonna be
Okay.
Batman because that's
Why
just like
not?
who wants to be Batman? I don't want it's too on the nose. Also, I get to dress up like a police officer. Okay, that's an alpha. That's an alpha costume right there.
So you're just going to
I
be
get
a
to wear glad.
cop.
I
You're going to
I
be a
hate
cop, and
Can
she's
I
going to
tell
be a
you how
boss.
much I don't like Halloween and how much I don't like
Okay, but
costumes?
why can't you reclaim this and just like go with it and have fun
This
with
is
it?
me,
And I
but this
think,
is me reclaiming it and
but
doing it.
but I think the idea,
It's too vague, man.
I
It's going
think,
to come
yeah,
across too
I
vague.
think
Here's the
because the
thing.
idea is bad, that then you're just leaning into the badness of it, versus like,
Yeah.
I don't think that, like, her being the Joker doesn't play into the the team element with the option of you, like you being Harley Quinn you're like shutting down right now. You're like shutting up
What's good
ending
is
the recording.
I'm so mentally checked out on anything you guys say from this point because I don't care. The gesture of me doing it is a big step.
100%. Just know that you
Halloween.
being a police officer and her being the
But
Joker
I'm not a police
is
officer.
not a couple.
I'm police commissioner Gordon. They have a pivotal scene. I've already rehearsed.
Get ready to explain that to everyone the entire night. That's going to be the conversation.
Can I just give a backup plan? Just a backup.
Yeah.
I actually have a great idea that works with that shirt, that you can wear that shirt so you're in your most comfort.
First of all,
you give your backup plan, I'll give my backup plan.
I love that you're doing this. I think this is a big step.
Great. Thanks, guys.
I really do. I think our feedback is valid.
It's great feedback.
And a backup is just get the Batman mask.
Yeah.
Literally the Batman mask. It doesn't need to be a full fucking thing.
Yeah.
But just a Batman mask.
And wear all black.
You can wear literally all black, or you can wear what you're wearing, but you just get the mask and you keep it in your car just in case you need to just change it out. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
It's a great backup idea.
Secondly, if you want to wear that outfit and the girlfriend has dark hair, right? Brunette.
Mm-hmm.
What if you're Wreck-It Ralph and she's
she wants to be the Joker.
Okay, we're not changing up her outfit, Jay. That's an overstep. No.
Okay,
hold on, just closing thought because I think we're at time here. Yeah. What was the couple's costume that you guys were gonna do?
Me and Rob.
Oh wow, he's digging us. He's saying because we
don't. Yeah, gotcha.
Was it? It was Mexico. It was 2 tickets to Mexico.
Oh wow,
can't wait,
crazy.
Rob. I can't wait.
Yeah, me and Jay are gonna be each other's dates, and it's gonna be fucking awesome. No, honestly, we're happy you have a girlfriend. We're happy I
feel so single. Activated right now. I hate Halloween so much.
I know. I can tell. Honestly, be Commissioner Gordon. Have fun. Don't worry about anything. It's the silliest holiday, and it's about having fun.
Someone's gonna ask me what I am, and I'm gonna throw him through a wall. It's gonna be the least chill move. We're going to her friend's. It's like her best friend's Halloween party, and he's a guy. He's a guy, which is another topic we talked about. But based off the parameters that we've all established,
are you breezy?
I am, but only because it checks the what we've all established or talked about as what is a healthy guy-girl friendship. If it did not, I would not be okay with it.
Right. Well, this has been a great episode of the Still Single podcast. We talked about monogamy. We talked about polyamory. We talked about Halloween, and we talked, as always, about love. And I want to send love to all of our listeners. I want to send love to Alex. I want to send love to Jordan.
Send love to yourself, too.
I'll send some love inside to myself. Yeah, that's nice. Guys, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. We see all those reviews. If you can take 2 seconds to write like a little review. Oh, we got a review from your dad.
My dad?
Apple Podcasts. Yeah.
What does it say?
Oh,
he's a man of few words.
Let's end on that.
Yeah.
He's a man of few words. I'm curious.
Because I check it like once a week. Okay, this is it. It's from ABW Dad. So Alex Bryant Weber dad. It is your dad. What are you talking about? ABW?
Yeah, it's my dad.
All right. The title of the review is Crushed. And then 5-star rating, Crushed. And he goes, I have listened to all 16. The 3 friends, funny, soulful, and honest. Great watch and listen.
Oh,
thanks, Frank.
That's love you, Frank. I want to, and Dad, thank you. I want to reiterate that Crushed is more my dad's speed. So those 7 words or that he wrote out and that means a lot. Cause that's like, yeah, he took some time on that.
Hell yeah. We love you, Frank. And we love all you guys listening at home. We'll be back next week.
Love y'all.
Sweet. Love you guys.
Happy birthday, Eileen.
Happy birthday, Eileen.
Love you, Mom.